a siren goes off in your Virgin Active or your Planet Fitness. Not one person loses their stride on the treadmill. Me being in the industry, I'm looking around to see where that sirens come from, because nobody reacts to a siren anymore.
Hello everybody, Hilton Turner from the Fire Detection Industry Association, and today we are talking voice evacuation. I'm joined by a stalwart of the fire detection industry, someone that I'm sure everybody will recognize, who's been around in multiple positions for numerous years, Lauren Sher. Welcome, Lauren. Thanks for taking the time to come and discuss voice evac with us and try and educate the market more as to exactly what voice evac is and where it fits into the industry.
Thanks for the invite, Hilton.
On the new release of SANS 10400 Part T, voice evac has now been included. So what does this mean moving forward for the industry, or all the players in the industry, the installers, the consulting engineers, the system designers, and what is the benefit, towards the end user, and how, as an industry, can we assist in ensuring that these new standards are adopted, people are following the rules, and systems are being installed compliantly in accordance to the building code, which, as we know, is legislation.
First and foremost, with the new standard, which was released in February 2020, the biggest issue with that, it got released just before lockdown. So it hasn't been implemented to the fullest that it should have been implemented. A lot of the consulting engineers, end users, installers, I don't even think are even aware that the standard has changed. And I also don't know if they're aware that SANS 10400 is part of the National Building Regulation, which then makes it prescriptive. So if it's now listed in there, it is something that has to be installed into buildings, hospitals, schools even, power stations, any environment of a building that's over 4 stories or in excess of 5,000 square meters. I'll just backtrack there. Hospitals, doesn't matter, irrelevant of size, any hospital, clinic, medical center has to have voice evacuation and, of course, fire detection.
Which I suppose it makes perfect sense. So I assume that they look at every building where evacuation could be a challenge. And in terms of benefit, I believe you did mention to me that they have run a few tests, not official tests and stuff, but there's been quite a few simulations of evacuations done using voice evac, not using voice evac. What were the results of those? And how do those results benefit the end user?
They did tests overseas. They haven't done it locally in South Africa as such to that level. But the test proved that 13% of people listen to a siren. 75% of people listen to voice. You're so desensitized to a siren today, and not taking away from the fact that you have to have fire detection, because the voice evacuation system doesn't pick up smoke. The fire detection system picks up the smoke and then will alert the voice evacuation system to say, there's an incident, we need to evacuate the building. We're so desensitized, like I said previously, against sirens. You go to the gym. That's my favorite example. You go to the gym and you watch a siren goes off in your Virgin Active or your Planet Fitness. Not one person loses their stride on the treadmill. Me being in the industry, I'm looking around to see where that sirens come from, because nobody reacts to a siren anymore. Your other problem with just having a siren, people will go, if I came into a mall through entrance A, I don't know where the escape route is, but I came in through entrance A, so I'm going to go out through entrance A. I don't know whether that's a proper fire escape route or not. If you have a voice evacuation system directing you, saying, please head to, for example, gate D, then you know that that's an escape route. You might be running straight into the fire, or you're running into an enclosed environment that you cannot escape that building or that mall. We did a test locally, if you want to call it a test. There were 2 buildings in Pretoria Central. One had a full voice evacuation system, and one they evacuated using a megaphone. They evacuated the building, which is a 14-story building. They evacuated within 10 minutes. They were still, after 15 minutes, trying to get everybody out of the building using a megaphone. You cannot get people out that way. Your other distinct major advantage in a high-rise building, high-rise apartment block, is phased evacuation. If you have everybody, if your alarm goes off, your fire detection goes off, everybody hears the siren, and you have a mass evacuation into the stairwell, you'll cause a stampede. And that will actually cause more harm than good, because everybody's now trying to escape. And if your fire department gets there and tries to get into the building, they'll get blocked in the stairwells because everybody's trying to escape. Your voice evacuation helps you with your phased evacuation. So if your fire is on floor 1, you evacuate that floor, the floor below and the floor above. Once they're evacuated, you then start going for the floors above that to get them out, and then the floors below.
I certainly remember some stories regarding stadiums trying to be evacuated and more injury coming from the stampede and people being crushed. So it's interesting to know that by just following the guidelines and by using voice evac, that any sort of loss of life is prevented, because I feel that's obviously what our industry is out to achieve, is to protect property, but more so life. And that's quite important. In terms of, since the change, and you obviously being involved directly in the voice evac system, obviously I don't come from the voice evac background. Has there been sort of pushback on the standards? Are people not yet ready to adopt the standards? Do you believe it's the same fight we've been having, well, in my 13 years in the industry, the same fight we've been having with regards to people looking at saving money rather than potentially saving lives down the line, and people sort of avoiding
Without a doubt. Evacs are nice to have. We once had somebody saying, well, we'd rather put in sound masking. Sound masking in an open area dampens the noise level in an area. Yeah. And they said sound masking is more critical than voice evacuation because it was an open plan area. They did put voice evacuation in, but that was the thought process initially.
With regards to this being included in 10400 and being included under the fire detection life safety sector, for lack of a better word, in terms of system design, obviously in terms of fire detection, gas suppression, there are associations, there are training facilities, etc., that are, sort of running courses in order to educate, whether it's an installer, a designer, a commissioner. With regards to EVAC, is this in place? Are there standards that people should be following now? Or is it something that we're planning? Or is it something that suppliers are currently offering? So, for example, that I needed to do a voice detection system, a voice evacuation system with a voice, connected to the detection system, and I've predominantly done detection. How would I go about ensuring that the design's correct, that I've got the correct amount of, wattage, and the dBs are going to be correct, and that my resistance and everything is going to allow the system to work and be compliant?
Currently, there are no real certified courses that you can go on. Each individual supplier will run courses to explain to people how to design systems in accordance to their equipment, because we all have different dB levels, different SPLs, different head-end equipment. It works slightly differently. It would be nice maybe if the SAQCC could start adopting some courses to help people understand how to design a system correctly. Nothing in place. Normally, most of the suppliers will design the system on behalf of an end user if they come directly to us, or assist a consulting engineer to do the designs. Remember, we do this on a day-to-day basis. A consulting engineer only does it periodically when that system comes their way. So we work on this every single day. So every single supplier has become an expert with their product and knows the limitations and what we can and can't do. There are standards that are referred to in SANS 10400, which will tell you how many dBs you have to reach, say like at a bed head level in a hotel, where it's got to be 75 dBs at bed head level. So there are parameters, but there's no actual design criteria within SANS 10400. So there are other standards that we need to start adopting and bring that into line to give us a better indication and a better guideline.
Okay, yeah, I'm quite a firm believer of educating the industry is a step in the right direction. And now that it has been legislated in 10400, and now that the information is out there, I think as the Fire Detection Industry Association, we are certainly going to assist in driving compliance, as that is the direction we are going. And hopefully these design standards and everything get brought into or
Absolutely.
implemented sooner rather than later to prevent too much or too many people assuming they've done it correctly when in fact they haven't.
Correct.
So exciting time for the voice evac. I know you've been fighting for this for quite some time, so there's light at the end of the tunnel. As the voice evac industry, are you guys going to be pushing for that design standard to move forward, as well as to push the likes of the SAQCC to adopt some of your current installation courses?
Unfortunately, the installation courses that we have currently are specific to my company. So we need to sit down maybe as an industry and get some more generic courses going so people can understand across the board on what they need to do. Definitely on the standard side, we're definitely going to start pushing to get other standards included in SANS 10400 to make it more user-friendly, if that's a good choice of words, so that they understand, like in fire detection, you have an L1 and L2 or a P1 or P2, so whether you're protecting life or property, and what voice evacuation, generally you're not protecting property, you're protecting life. You need to get people out of a building as quickly as possible.
Okay. To finish off, I'm going to say, as the Fire Detection Industry Association, we are happy to take any inquiries with regards to voice evac and use our members and the specialists in your field to assist people with design and to educate the industry. So I would like to thank you for your time today. And we shall certainly be following voice evac and hopefully seeing it become more and more regular and more used to drive towards compliancy, which is our goal, I think, at the end of the day.
And I will carry on pushing and pushing and pushing.
Fantastic, Lauren. Thanks for your time.